Hi, I'm Joe Welinske from the ConveyUX conference coming up in Seattle in January, and I'm talking with some of the speakers who will be visiting in Seattle. And today I'm speaking with Victor Yocco. Hello, Victor.
Hi, Joe. How are you today?
Everything's good. Where are you talking to us from?
I'm in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love.
All right. Well, why don't we start with you telling us a little bit about your background, your organization, the nature of the work that you're involved in.
Sure. So, I am a design researcher and strategist, and I work at Intuitive Company. We are a small-ish firm, about 50 people in Philadelphia, and we do everything from the research and design to development work. So, we can do everything when it comes to digital design work, and we work with a lot of different companies. On their digital properties. So some of our clients are banks, telecommunications, and others are nonprofits, universities. We take on a real wide range of work, so there's always interesting things to be done. And of course, doing the research part, I get to go out and do a lot of talking with our clients and then also with their clients, which I find really interesting. Every day is a little bit different. I can be doing remote interviews over the phone, or I can be flying around to meet face to face with a group of people or one on one. So I enjoy what I do quite a bit, and I think here at Intuitive Company, we really do make it user focused. What we do, we always incorporate the voice of the users in what we do, starting at the beginning and throughout the process, going back and getting more feedback. So.
Well, have there been any trends in terms of how you're doing things at your organization? Has anything changed over the last few years in terms of techniques and technologies that you might be using?
Well, I think that for the most part, we're in line with how people are perceiving mobile to be. Not necessarily the future. Mobile is the now. So a lot of our work involves designing for incorporating it into a mobile or tablet experience. And so when we talk about what the future looks like with our clients, we always want them to keep their eye on mobile and tablet experience as well as their desktop experience. And I think that that is a general trend across the board. It's only going to keep growing, at least at this point. It'll be interesting to see where things like wearables and smartwatches might go with how not only somebody keeps track of their own health statistics or whatever might be the immediate use, but what are the more long-term uses for those types of devices? And I definitely think we'll be looking at that. We looked at the Google Glass, and I think that as soon as like the Apple Watch comes out, we'll be looking at how that might play a role with not only with ourselves but with our clients.
Well, your session coming up at ConveyUX is entitled "Beyond the Like Button: Incorporating Social Identity Theory into Design." So, what was the where did that come from? What was your thoughts and what type of work were you doing that brought you to pulling this topic together?
Sure. So my background, a lot of what I've done in the past is around social science, psychology, and oftentimes you incorporate different either theoretical frameworks to try to design a study or to explain why something's happening. And when I started working here at Intuitive, I've been here about 18 months, I really saw a lot of what I was calling in the past theory playing out in the designs here and in the designs that our clients wanted. And so, just in trying to think deeper around how we do things, I started to write about how the application of different theories would look to design. And then, specific to this, so social identity theory really talks about how people look to the world around them to develop who they are. And a lot of that, whether explicitly or not, is done by social media giants like Facebook or Twitter, that they're appealing to these sort of innate thoughts that people have about wanting to either be more like other people who they think are in the same group as them, or even less like people that they think are in groups that they're not a part of. And so, in thinking about the session itself, though, and what value I could add beyond just saying, here's a theory and its components, was really thinking, so Facebook does the like button, and that's great, and it absolutely works for them. But the trend seems to be, then let's do things like whoever's winning in the industry is doing it. And so why don't we put a like button on everything, even if it doesn't really make sense? Well, I think if you take a closer look and maybe using social identity as a framework to do that, you would see that there are more appropriate ways of developing a social experience depending on what your product is. And so really that's what I want to bring the discussion to in my session is, so if we know people tend to act in a certain way or think in a certain way around social experiences, how do you make it meaningful to what you're doing if that's what's going to enhance the value of your product, is having people have social experiences? So, if you have a product that absolutely doesn't really relate to a social experience, putting a like button on it isn't going to turn it into a social experience. But maybe there are some properties that would lend itself to either having people talk about it with their friends and family or share it in some other context. And so I really just wanted to bring that out, that Facebook is doing it right, but it's the way Facebook is set up. How is your product, or how might your client's product benefit from a social experience that's not just replicating what other people are doing?
As you've been working with social identity, have you had any thoughts about maybe where things are coming in the future, what the next rev of this might look like, maybe alternatives to what Facebook has done? Any any thoughts along those lines?
Sure. So, well, I think that in general, that the trend is going to remain making things more social. And I think it's really trying to capture how to share things the right way. So if you have something where online people can interact with each other, I think it makes more sense for these areas to be developed in a way that'll facilitate conversation on your site. But if that doesn't necessarily make sense, then how can you generate some talking point, like maybe a link that you email out, or something that you can bring up later when you're offline that would allow you to socialize around this product and then maybe bring it back online, or possibly create more of a social movement around your product where it's not all happening online. So I think that
Looks like I lost you there for a second.
we totally dropped. That's okay.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, it would only drop for a few seconds, so maybe finish your thought there.
You just missed it, but I totally said something profound and amazing that I cannot repeat.
All right. Well,
Earth scattered.
I think we got a lot of good insights about your background and where what you'll be doing at the conference. So we'll just see you in Seattle in a few weeks.
Awesome, Joe. I'm really excited, and I'm happy to be a part of ConveyUX and make it the best it can be. And also, I really want people to walk away thinking deeper and feeling that they got something beneficial out of coming to my session.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Victor.
Thanks, Joe.